What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is MP with MP Talk Sports, and we lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The final score was 21-14, and this was such a horrific loss. It was embarrassing. It was super, super painful to watch. We had 5 turnovers in this game. 5. 2 of them which came in the red zone, just about at the goal line. So at critical moments, we had 2 turnovers. So here was our drive sequence in this game, right? Our first possession, Stevenson fumbles and it's recovered by Pittsburgh. Then we punt. Then a touchdown by Hunter Henry. An interception after we go all the way down the field and May throws an interception at the 2-yard line. Another fumble by Stevenson at the Pittsburgh 1-yard line that's recovered by Pittsburgh. Then a fumble by Gibson that was recovered by Pittsburgh. A touchdown by Hunter Henry. A fumble by Drake May on a sack that's recovered by Pittsburgh. And then we turn it over on downs with 1 minute and 5 seconds left. On that drive, it was a 4th and 1 at the Pittsburgh 28-yard line. And we do a short pass to Pop Douglas, and he was right there at the first down marker. And all he had to do was fall forward past the first down line, but instead he tries to go around the defender and he ends up going backwards, and then he gets tackled behind that first down marker. So then Pittsburgh obviously takes it back and kneels down the clock and wins the game. 2 times we were knocking on the door for a touchdown. 2 times we were knocking on the door for a touchdown. May throws an interception and Stevenson fumbles. So if we had those 2 touchdowns, we potentially win this game. And that's what's so frustrating. That's what's so frustrating, is that we're so close to scoring and then we don't score. And that's something that, has been a problem. We get to a certain point and then we can't score. And I know May and Gibson also fumbled in this game as well, but Stevenson fumbling has been a problem since last season. It's been a problem for him, and it's been a pretty consistent problem. Yes, he had that big game last week at Miami. He has been able to show us that he can make good plays, and he's proven that to us, but he turns the ball over, and we cannot be having these fumbles that are recovered by the other team. After the game, Stevenson said, "If I can't hold on to the ball, then they don't need me." And Vrabel, after the game, said, "We do need him, and we need his abilities." But Stevenson knows that this is a problem. He knows that he should be holding on to this ball, and he's not. He's not doing a good job. He's not doing a good job with it. And everybody is hating Stevenson today, more so because of that fumble right at the goal line. That was a touchdown. He didn't fumble that ball. So Drake May went 28 for 37, 268 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He also led us in rushing with 45 yards. Gibson and Henderson both had 28 rush yards, and Stevenson had 18 rush yards. Hunter Henry led us in receiving with 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stevenson had 38 receiving yards. Hooper and Booty had 28 yards. Matt Collins had 27 yards. And Diggs had 23 yards. So Diggs is doing next to nothing. And I'm sure that that's not what he imagined when he came here. He definitely, I'm sure, thought that he was going to have a much bigger role. But he hasn't done much these past 3 weeks at all. He hasn't been our leading receiver. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet. He has done nothing to make this team better. For Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers went 16 for 23, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Jaylen Warren led them in rushing with 47 yards. Kenneth Gainwell had 16 yards, 1 touchdown. Jaylen Warren had 34 receiving yards. Calvin Austin had 34 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. DK Metcalf had 32 yards and 1 touchdown. So we definitely Defensively, we never put that pressure on Rodgers. We never sacked him. We never got to Rodgers for a sack. But yeah, we held them to 21 points. So they did score touchdowns on their first two drives, but then we held them to 14 points until 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So the defense wasn't all that bad in this game. It wasn't what was terrible in this game. What was the most terrible in this game was the 5 turnovers that we had. And again, if we don't turn over the ball twice as we're knocking on the door for a touchdown, again, we most likely win this game. And that is what is the most frustrating being a Patriots fan, is that these are mistakes that we made last year. These are mistakes that we made last year under Gerard Mayo, and these are mistakes that we expected not to make this year under Vrabel. Everybody's concerned that Drake May isn't it. Everybody wants to get rid of Stevenson. They want Henderson in there, which I thought that Henderson was going to be, a bigger guy for us off the rip than what he's doing right now. Gibson was doing okay, but he did have that fumble. Everybody is concerned that Drake May is not our quarterback, and they want to get rid of Stevenson. So this is what's frustrating, is that the expectations and the hope that we all had going into this season under Vrabel, under McDaniels, having a Drake May have a good coach and a good offensive coordinator, was what was going to make a difference for him. And this game just made it seem like the progress that where we looked last week versus Miami, it just wasn't there for us against Pittsburgh at home on top of it. Next week we play Carolina, who's coming off of a amazing win over the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta didn't even score, and I believe it was definitely over 30 points for Carolina. So what are we going to look like next week? Again, the consistency of this team in general is how are we going to go from the Raiders week 1 doing amazing or better week 2 versus Miami. Now we're way backwards where we were before we played the Raiders. This is like last season bullshit that we watched in this game. But if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. I'm MP, and this is MP Talk Sports.